Listen, I did a lot of reading about you. There's tons of press about you and the jewelry and everything that you've been doing in the last few years. But there's one quote specific that you said that kind of stand out to me. You said that my journey in the jewelry industry has been about breaking stereotypes and redefining luxury for a new generation. Can you
Yes.
tell me more about that?
Actually, I was born with a father who is a diamond dealer. And actually, I'm pretty sure that from the adult you are, everything started from the 10th year, first year of your life, your childhood. And the fact that I was connected with diamonds very spontaneously, like a game between my father and I, actually give me a real special impression with diamonds, something that is really close to my life, close to my skin, very playful. And I think that has to my mind that luxury and diamond has something very different for me than it has to be for the other. So when I decided to launch my diamond brand, I thought it was very important to give the same, connection with the luxury goods, and at least, of course, with diamonds, the same than in my childhood.
Any specific childhood memory that you have that you believe that has significantly like shaped your approach to your life and work?
I think, when I used to put the diamond just near my fingers and make them move in order to make them bright, to see the sparkle of them, to have this nudity between my skin and the diamonds gave me the impression that nothing can be more pure and more beautiful than the shine of a diamond. So when I decided to launch the brand, my concern was, and my obsession was, to erase the gold and to make the more diamonds sparkle as possible. So I think it really helps me to get some rules about how I'm going to design my jewelry, like a diamond tattoo, something very close to the skin, something very light and minimalist, something very, comfortable, for the modern woman of today, something that can be, like a way of bringing your style, but not about, having this message that diamonds are forever, like something that you can have from your husband for big occasions. This accessibility to the diamonds helps me, as you said, to, redefine a bit my idea of luxury and even more the diamond jewelry.
How do you define the modern woman these days?
The modern woman is today someone who has different life in a day. She must be, of course, good at work, but I don't feel the same pressure for men. Even things are really changed between men and women now, but you have also to take care of the family, of the house. So you need to be multifaceted. And in your life, you can have many different life. So the woman has to be today, strong and soft at the same time. She has to be stylish, but she has to be comfortable in her shoes because she has to run and to do so many things. So for me to conceive my jewelry as a day and night friends, it's also a way for me to keep yourself stylish, but to have all those different facets of the woman of today.
Now, the interesting thing as well is that the industry has been a very dominant male industry for decades and many, many
For
years.
sure.
And then now here you are starting this, which is already a very ambitious idea of opening and start a brand new brand. That takes a leap of, that takes some bravery. Can you go back to those early days and you made a decision, this is what you're going to do? What was some of the biggest challenges and what were the things that you were mostly concerned about in the very early days of the
I'm pretty sure that the success of Messika is also because there is a woman behind of it, and we are 70% of female in the company, and I'm super proud of it because the way we manage, the way we have a bit more empathy, the way we, at the end of the day, the jewelry, when I started, not now because I develop a lot of men jewelry, but was mainly for women. So what's more for me obvious that as a woman to design jewelry for myself or for my friends and then put them on my skin, try them on. It's always a relationship of energy, of vibration between you and your jewelry. And the moment I wear them, I have also another intuition. And as you said, men was definitely people who held this industry, which is good. But at the end of the day, they're not always the first consumer. So of course, I'm sure that it gives a big difference as a woman to design and to image in jewelry for other women.
You were talking about having an intuition once you're trying the jewelry on and have a sense of how that speaks to you. Can you tell me a little bit more about what intuition feels like to you? Because sometimes it's hard to put in words, but when you know that this is a piece that belongs to you, it's something that you want to purchase or something that a design that you want to pursue it and see it physically become a real thing.
That's a good question. And to be honest, nobody has ever asked me this. And I think that's very interesting. As you said, it's very, how do you say, almost animal, something very intuitive. But if I try to come back to this intuition, what gives me, things that it's Messika is about the proportion, the modernity, the light, because I want the diamonds to shine as much as possible. And it's my obsession when I do pavé, when I do one line of diamonds, everything, all the details of proportion, I want them to make the diamond spark. The comfort, the versatility, it's very important that even in my high jewelry pieces, I always have in mind that a necklace can be transformable into a ring or a choker. You can take out a piece, the central piece. Or for example, this ring, is one of my very iconic one. You have a chain and you can take it out. Then you have one ring, or you can having a pinky ring. The fact that it's very playful. You want them to enjoy in many different occasions. The fact that when I'm doing, for example, pendant, I want them to be, you can change the position. You have on the back always like a sliding system. If you have a shirt, if you have a color, I want them to be free, comfortable, and versatile. And this is also when I get that, I said, okay, then I finish the process. And of course, when I try them on myself, but on other women, it's always another vision of it. I want them to be I want them to be to many different style of women. I don't have in my mind only one type of beauty. And I think Messika Jewelry fits to a lot of different women.
Do you have, or did you have in the early days, like a specific jewelry designer that was a form of an inspiration, almost like an icon that you wanted to, follow those footsteps?
I have Monsieur Alaya, who I admire so much. I think he really changed the fashion industry because the way he conceived the outfit, it's like not a tattoo, but the way he shaped the body. And even you're a bit curvy, you can be very feminine and sexy with or without, it's very stretchable. It's, how do you say, very modern also in terms of design. And I also admire till a very long time, Monsieur Yves Saint Laurent, because he invents the men's suit for women. And for me, it was a big change because you can be very sexy and very feminine with a man black suit, which is always very, for me, like something quite revolutionary.
I kind of want to go back to in the early days of the company. I believe you were founded in 2005. So the business has been around for quite a bit. The first time you launched the collection, when it was out to the press, the media, and people were able to first time have an opinion, comment about what you have done. Do you remember any specific article or any specific, criticism or anything that kind of stick out on that first collection that you still have that fresh memory in your head?
I will always remember. I don't remember, to be honest, who talked to us this way, but having a title, disrupting the diamond industry. And for me, it was like, as coming from my father who is in the diamond industry, very traditional, conventional, give me this impression of being disruptive. You can take into version, or bad version. This person is making like a big mess and it's not good, or changing a bit the way of considering things. So I took it, of course, on the right way. And I'm sure that if Messika exists surrounding by big actor in the industry who has more than 100 years, surrounding by Kearings, LVMH, Richemont, which are amazing groups, but very big, it's because we are different. It's because we are doing pretty differently things in the jewelry. So for me, it's very important to keep going on that way.
So beyond the glitz and the glamour, what is some of the behind the scenes aspect of the jewelry industry that you wish more people knew about?
Uh, what can I say? It's sometimes very glamorous because we are very, how do you say, blessed to touch very exceptional stones, very exceptional people who knows the craftsmanship. So I feel, very on a niche in my way of life. But at the end of the day, it's always also very dangerous. You can lose stones. You can sometimes when you give to celebrities, I'm always obsessed that if there is a problem, the insurance, the transport, everything is, we are like always a bit unconscious the way of the value of things that we are manipulate every day. That gives us a bit, kind of being in a very in a bubble world.
That's true. People sometimes don't consider that, right? Because it's one thing if there's a dress fabric. Now, some of those things can be as well. And when you borrow those things to celebrities or to, singers or whoever it is, but when you're doing jewelry, the price tag jump exponentially pretty quick. And there's this whole logistics and security and there's so much liability behind the scenes. So how are you deciding how to do that? Who to launch those pieces to, and what occasions are important to you? How are you using the marketing tool visibility to expose your pieces in a more interesting, diverse way?
I'm not sure I catch your question, so I will answer and you tell me if I am wrong or not.
Yeah.
Actually, I want my jewelry, as I told you, to be stylish and to enjoy in many different occasions. For example, when I'm designing high jewelry, I want the woman not to put the set in the safe. Usually, it's like a piece of heart, which is beautiful, but that you cannot mix, that you cannot enjoy. So when I'm giving, and when I had the chance with so many amazing women on the music industry or in the fashion world that's wearing my jewelry, it's a way of giving this vibration of the desirability and the multifaceted of different women wearing in different occasions my jewelry.
That's the perfect answer to the question. Excellent.
That's great. Thank you.
From everything that I've been reading and now that I have the chance to talk to you, I can definitely see a sense of confidence and empowerment. You're definitely someone that projects that to us. But can you recall a time in your life or a career where you had to kind of summon some initiative to overcome an obstacle or a setback?
To be honest, I'm not a very confident person. I'm improving myself with the experience and, of course, the success of this great adventure. But even to make a speech in front of my team, not a long time ago, but it was very difficult. So I improve myself, teaching to myself that I'm the leader, so I need to give the energy to the other people to follow me. And one of my key points is that I'm surrounding myself with people who believe in me. That's in order to have the strength sometimes to take the right decision and to follow my path. Is that your question?
Yes. Yes. And I'm going to do a quick follow up. You're saying about you're pushing yourself because you're the leader and you have your Libre example. What are you doing in terms of your personal growth, to push yourself? Are there specific things that you're working on to become better so you can be better, not only for the company, but for your team and for the people around?
It's always that I'm giving micro challenge every day. I'm not looking too far. When I launched the brand, I didn't say to myself, oh, I'm going to be distributed everywhere in the world. I'm going to have 100 stores. I will be in 50 point of sale from all over the world. No, of course not. I'm giving each day a small challenge on myself. It can be Okay, I'm very lazy. I don't love to make sports, but okay, I said, okay, now once a week I need to do sports. Or okay, now I need to improve myself on the way I speak to the other people when I'm making speeches. It's always micro things. And at the end of the day, I try to do the better version of myself, but it's small steps.
Do you think it's fair to say that sometimes new brands spend so much time thinking about the future, what things are going to look like, and what they want to accomplish, and forget the daily day routine, as you just mentioned? That could be a big mistake that some of the newer upcoming designers or the next generation might be perhaps overthinking too much instead of just doing the work.
It's I think when you have luck, you're lucky enough to find something that it's a success in your own business, whatever is the business. You have to keep loyal on your path, you know. Don't change too much, because if you have lucky enough to touch this success, it's because it was meaningful. So of course there is trends. Of course you can adapt yourself with the trends, but try to keep going on what makes you different and try to find your own style.
Has the definition of success changed for you? I'm sure when the company started, your expectation of success was something else. Now the company is a very successful company, and things has changed, how distribution wise, visibility, and all of those things. How are you looking at success right now comparing to perhaps 10, 15 years ago?
The more success I have, with all the humility, the more I understand that it was not a success. Because, you know, the more you grow up, the more you scale yourself, the more you see. I'm not looking at the back, I'm looking to all the path that I have to do. And it's a long way. And the more I'm high, the more I'm afraid to fall, because it's a bit higher. So in terms of success, you never have you have small successes, but you never get the real success, you know, because everything is going so fast now, you know, with
Yeah.
media, with society. You can be trend and not trendy the other day. You can be in one day, out the other. As an entrepreneur, I'm never relying myself on the success. I teach from my success, of course, and things that was not good, but I'm always on the next step.
I love what you said about like the bigger, the higher your success is, the bigger is the fall as well. So it can be a little scary, but yet you're not stopping. You're not let the fear make you stop. You're still pushing forward. Now, after so many years in the business and with the growth of the business, what are the things that you're looking forward the most? What are the things that you want to see happening with the business in the next 5 to 10 years?
For Messika,
Yes, from Messika.
Um, as I told you, I'm always afraid to look a bit too far. But
Hmm.
anyway, as I'm growing up, I need to do my homework for that. I hope that I will continue to create like a kind of desirability around diamond and around the world. The more I travel, the more I get inspired from different culture. The more I'm a very human person. I get inspiration from the energy of the others. So I hope I will continue to impulse this energy in my own industry, even I'm getting older, because actually it's also, of course, the new generation, they understand, they feel things that getting older, you don't have the same impact. So I hope I will scale myself, surrounding myself with great people that can help me to continue to have this great adventure about diamond all over the world.
Uh, the aspect of a lot of the conversation these days, how fast technology are changing. There's so many things so fast. How
Yeah,
did you see technology impacting traditional jewelry craftsmanship at Messika?
I think, you know, we have no options. We need to go on the flow, and the flow is, you know, updating ourselves with the new technology. I'm sure the IA will get a huge revolution in all the different industries. Even I don't know so much about that technology, but I'm sure it's going to be huge. That's why I'm telling you, I need to surround myself with people who will know much better than I. But at the end of the day, it's always very exciting, because if we update ourselves with the new technology, we can go further, we can go faster, we can understand so many different things using technology for jewelry. I don't know, but I'm seeing that as a very exciting thing.
So you're very optimistic about the.
Yes, of course, I try. We can always see bad things, you know. We can always see, it's like you can see the empty, or you know, the glass, if it's empty or it's not. So I'm a very optimistic person, and I'm pretty sure that the more optimistic you're in your life, the more it helps you to have a great experience.
Have you always been an optimistic person as a little kid?
Yeah, but I'm very anxious. I'm very optimistic, but I'm very anxious. I'm worried, but as I told you, I'm challenging myself to overpass my anxiety.
What are some of the things that you're anxious about?
The disease, is that the right word?
Hmm.
The, you know, the, of course, death, but you know, I'm always afraid that things can happen bad for my family. You know, I'm a bit anxious like this. Even I'm optimistic. It's like this.
Kind of force you to be optimistic, right? Because at the end of the day, if you have kids, you want to make sure that they're going to be all right and at least they have a good output in the world. I
For
believe
sure.
you said before you have girls,
Yeah.
and so do I. I have two little girls,
Yeah.
and for me,
How
it's
old?
I have an 11-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Wow, cute. Cute age.
Yeah, it's
Me
a
too, 10
great
and
age.
12.
It's a great age. And for me, it's always important to talk to strong, confident, and empowering women because I want them to see that there are tons of examples out there that people really making the difference, me really pushing forward, pursuing their dreams. Because I'm married to a fantastic woman who's a great example at home, also a jewelry enthusiast. But for me, it's always important to connect with
Sounds
more of
great.
those women, and so they can see it and understand. Oh, I can do that too and empower them. That brings me back a little bit because now you're a mom, but you also I want to kind of go back and talk a little bit about your relationship with your father. How
Yeah,
was that for you
just
growing up in the business?
I interrupt you because I think it's very interesting what you're telling me, sorry, is that you need to help your kids to dream, because if you don't dream, you don't have, you know, it's a way of realizing your dream. I said always dream about the moon, and at least you will be in the stars. You will reach stars. It's good to dream in life. It's very important to empower them and to give them to tell them that it's possible.
I agree 100%. I tell them a lot of times that I won't be able to face all the battles for you. You're going to have to do the battles by yourself. But I want to at least
Yeah,
make sure that you know that we have your back and you have the tools and the mentality, for say, and the strength and the confidence to go out there and pursue things.
for sure.
And you will fall, you will tumble, but at least you know you have hopefully a confident enough to try it again and keep moving forward.
That's true.
But it really comes back to that bringing that you have. Of course, not everybody have that. And it seems like you did growing up, and you have strong family support. And I want to kind of talk a little bit about your relationship with your father, who were in the business for many years,
Yeah.
and how that influenced in you and have those conversations with him, and how was his reaction when you decided to open your own company.
Actually, what he teach me is to believe in my dream. Uh, and that's very important, as we said. He also gave me the passion for diamonds. He wanted to transmit the spirit of an entrepreneur, which was very important for me as a designer and having my own company today. Also, where I was with him, I remember that you know, he teach me to look inside the stone. You know, stone is like this, small, and he gave me loop, and with the loop, he teach me to look inside the inclusion. So I will always remember. You have a watch, design me a watch, and tell me where is the inclusion at 1 o'clock point 10. And the way it was very funny to identify those inclusion. I was not aware that at that time he teach me so well to look inside all the details of my life. And as a luxury, you know, brand managing director, it's very important for me to look at all the details. All the details is not only for the jewelry, it's everything, the way we receive the people in the store, the way my packaging look like, the way my stores look like, the way my image advertising, everything is about details, and even more when you're in the luxury world. So that's, for me, it's like a treasure that I have in my own toolboxes that my father gave me from my childhood.
What a treasure it is. And the interesting thing about detail that I like what you said is that you're not only the creative director, but you're also running the business. So there's this due part that you have to, shift between being the creative mind, but also the leader of the business itself. How often do you find yourself balancing those things? And how do you spend your time? Do you feel like it's 50-50, or you spend more time in one aspect than the other?
I wish that my artistic part should be 70%, but to be honest, it's 60%. 60% and 40% running the business. I'm lucky because I'm working with my husband. He's the CEO of the company, so he's more dedicated in the commercial part, more the financial part, which is great. But at the end of the day, I'm still following things that gives me, not enough time for the creation part. But as you told me, what was the reaction of my father? Coming back to that part, he was very positive, but he was a bit afraid of the way he has a great name in the industry, not to the final consumer, but to the, B2B people industry. And he told me, you have to find your own way. You have to please don't copy anyone. Find things that identify yourself, and you will be identified with the financial to the final customer if you find your way. So for him, it was like a kind of obsession.
Finding a way is an interesting thing because some people takes a lifetime to discover themselves and to find who they are. What was your journey in terms of finding your way to be different than everybody else in an industry that you grew up in that hasn't really had a lot of changes for so many, many years? Was it easy to identify those necessities and those changes in the industry, or you really had to dig in and find those opportunities?
To be honest, I think that this company helps me to find me. I didn't expect to find me because as you told me it's very complicated. People sometimes didn't even know who they are at my age. So I always know a bit more of myself, whereas I'm getting with more maturity. But to be honest, I didn't expect from myself to be like a kind of leader, to be artist, those kind of things I discover on my way with this company. So I'm sure that people can identify things on their business, on their private life, giving them challenge and dream.
It's like by building the business and the brand, you find yourself. That's an interesting.
This is what I felt for myself.
I love it. Now, beyond jewelry, what are your personal passions or interests?
Jewelry, it's a big part of my time, but anyway,
I know.
I always love to travel. So with my business, I travel a lot. So I tried each time when I'm making a business trip to find few days for resting and for discovering the culture, the food, art. If I can see some piece of art also. But I love to do a bit of also gastronomic. I love to take time for that. I have a beautiful country home 1 hour from Paris. So I love to be surrounded by green, we are in the middle of beautiful woods. So for me, it's always a way of, getting a bit calm in order to rest, stop, and to go faster after, to recharge the batteries.
So you cook?
I'm not a good cooker. I love food.
You like to enjoy the food, yes.
I like to enjoy the food, but I'm not a very good cooker.
That's great. Because I was going to ask you, if you were to visit your place and you were to cook, what would be the main dish you would serve to your friends?
I will serve you a big pasta, beautiful pasta. I love pasta, and it's not too complicated.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're talking about traveling. Any specific place that you have traveled recently that kind of stand out to you?
I'm obsessed with Japan, which I discovered this country only 1 year ago. I fell in love, of course, with Africa. I made a beautiful trip in last August in Botswana and Namibia. I saw the desert, and after I saw all the camp with the animals. I love deserts. I love also water. I love things which are huge and a bit monolithic.
Let me go back and ask about Japan. What about the Japanese culture that's an impact to you that you stand out?
I love so much the mix of tradition and the modernity. The fact that there's some, even they're very respectful when they see you. There's so many respectful, but at the same time, they're a bit out of the box. They can the way they can dress themselves, the way they can behave in the street. It's very funny to see this twist in this very institutional culture. I love the fact that you can go from skiing with them, lake. Also, you can be in the mountains. I see the Mont Fuji is a
Yeah.
beautiful place. I've been in a ryokan, eating like a tradition, taking the bath, the hot bath. I love the fact that there's so many sophistication, tradition and gesture. I love the cooking of course, Japanese food. Everything is like a mix of childhood. I came with my girls. They were like, wow, Hello Kitty. Everything is like cute. It's kawaii, everything. It's a mix of so many different things that you cannot find anywhere else, actually.
Yeah, my oldest is obsessed with Tokyo. She wants it. She loves the kawaii, all those things as well. So she's like begging us to take her. So we're gonna plan a trip and visit, take her as well, so she can
You
go see
have
it.
to. You have to. And there's so many things different to do.
Any place specific that you like to visit, but you haven't had a chance yet?
I'd love one day to go in Utah, in the desert, American desert. I'd love to go in Australia. I've never been there. I think I have so many things to see, but I was very lucky because I know Asia, I know Thailand, Bali, which I love also very much. I'm sure I've been to Vietnam, which is amazing also. But Canada, I don't know so well. I would love to see Canada during summer or winter. I know it's very different.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's a big world. There's a lot of options out there for sure.
Yeah, I've visited the Laponia,
Mhm.
the north of it was also during winter, minus 70 degrees, uh,
Oof.
losing yourself. I'm sure your kids will love it.
Yeah. Valerie, we're part on the show that I usually ask all the guests three questions to everybody, and it's more of a recommendation. So, question number one is I want us to recommend a book to read. It can be something that you read recently or one of your favorites, doesn't really matter. Something to watch, it can be a TV show, a movie, a play, whatever you think it's something we should check it out. And who do you think we should invite to be our next guest here on the podcast?
Oh my God. As I didn't read the question before, it's a very tricky question. For the book, I was in Maldives with my little girls, and I read a book, very famous one for kids, which is called Le Petit Prince, The Little Prince, from Saint-Exupéry. It's a very famous author. And I love so much this book because the more you read it, it seems that it's for kids, but it's not, because at the end of each, or almost each page, you can find a metaphoria of your life. So this, I would definitely say, for small, for medium, for old people, you have to read it.
Excellent. What about a show or a movie?
Show, wow, because it has to be international show, because if it's French show, you don't know it.
Well, it's fine. I mean, I'm sure people can go check it out and put some subtitles.
I love the show of Léa Salamé in French. She's a journalist. It's called La Belle comment ça s'appelle? Quelle époque? Quelle époque mean in which world we're living. And I love the fact that in this show, she mixed politician people, music people, bloggers, influencers. She made a very nice mix and match. And she speaks about the actuality, the news, the big things. And the way she entertains as a woman, it's very interesting. She's a very, the way she makes interview more empathy, with more, emotional, even with political people. I love that. So I should say this one.
That definitely got to check it out. And I guess, who do you think we should invite to be here in the show next?
You should invite Jacques Mus. I love, he's a designer. I respect very much the way he changed also. He find his own place in a very, big industry, and the way he's so creative.
Yeah, he definitely has his own way, super fun approach. Terrific. That's actually like a great choice.
Oh, so that's great. I'm happy you like it.
Valerie, I want to thank you so much. As I mentioned earlier, for me, it's always important to connect with like women who are has a very clear mind and aspect of who they are and what they're pursuing. Because I want a selfish reason to show my girls that's possible. And you are someone who definitely up there doing your own thing, carving your own
Thank you.
path in an industry. It's quite challenging, difficult as well. And at the same time, what I'm walking away that beyond that you are a person who is willing to connect, a person who is open to the universe, to open to the environment, to connect, to be part of something bigger, to engage, to live life at its fullest, beyond anxieties and all other things that happen at the same time. You're living. When I see you and I get to talk to you, I feel like someone who's living her best life, but the life that she earned. It
Thank
wasn't
you
given
so
to you.
much.
So thank you so much. I really appreciate
Thank
you
you
taking the
so much.
time.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me. We spent a very nice time, and I hope to see you one day in Rio.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.